I was the last one left at the masquerade, and I'm not sure I ever truly left, because I don't know if the mask I'm wearing was ever mine to begin with. I never should have gone. It came in the mail. No return address, no postage, just a single envelope slipped under my door. Thick parchment, wax seal, and one sentence written in looping black ink. Your presence is requested at La Bal Masqué. Midnight, April 30th, the Graymoor Estate. No RSVP, no explanation, just a location. The paper felt cold, like it had been buried underground. I was skeptical at first. It seemed too theatrical, too deliberate, but something about it tugged at me. A familiar sensation I couldn't place, like déjà vu mixed with dread. I tried to ask around. No one had heard of the Graymoor Estate, not my co-workers, not even my grandfather, who spent his entire life in this town. I looked online. Nothing. No address, no photos, just an old local forum thread from 2009. The title, "Don't Go to the Masked Ball." The post was empty. Curiosity is a dangerous thing, especially mine. The Graymoor Estate isn't listed on maps. It's buried in the woods, 20 miles outside town. No streetlights, no signs. Just a gravel path that seemed to pulse under my headlights. The iron gates stood impossibly tall, and as I pulled up, they creaked open slowly on their own. Not with violence. No, like they were expecting me, welcoming me. The manor loomed in, the distance, candlelight flickering behind stained glass windows. The wind was still, the air too still, not a sound except for the soft crunch of gravel under my tires. The estate was untouched by time. Ivy clawed up the stone walls. The architecture was something out of the 1800s, ornate and haunting. Statues lined the walkway, human figures in masquerade masks, each different, each watching. As I approached the door, it opened before I could knock. A tall, thin man in a plague doctor mask bowed silently and gestured me in. He never said a word. The air inside was heavy, perfumed and decaying at the same time. Gilded ceilings, crystal chandeliers, velvet drapes, everything was dripping in. Wealth and rot, and they were all already dancing, dozens of them. Every guest wore a mask, every dress and suit tailored to another time. Some Victorian, some Elizabethan. One man wore a Napoleonic officer's uniform, his mask a snarling wolf. A woman floated by in a dress made of feathers and a mask shaped like a weeping angel. No one acknowledged me, yet all of them seemed to know I had arrived. I wandered deeper in. The ballroom was impossibly large, larger than the estate should allow. The ceilings stretched too high. The corners faded into shadows that refused to yield to light. A string quartet played in the corner, but when I looked closer, their instruments were dusty, the strings unmoving. Yet the music filled the space perfectly, and still, the guests danced. I wasn't given instructions, but the rules were absorbed. Don't remove your mask. Don't stop dancing. Don't speak of time. Every time I tried to speak, I felt pressure behind my eyes. Every time I reached for my phone, it buzzed, violently like it was being electrocuted. The screen showed only static. I saw others who paused their steps, only for a tall figure in red robes to glide across the floor and whisper into their ear. They would collapse soon after. The collapsed guests were never helped, just removed. 2. Masked attendants, featureless white masks like blank mannequins, would emerge, lift them gently, and vanish behind heavy crimson curtains at the back of the ballroom. Then, new guests would appear. I never saw them enter. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time stretched and warped in that place. The music looped, but I could never remember when it restarted. That's when I noticed it. Some of the dancers weren't breathing. Their bodies moved too smoothly like marionettes. Their masks, once colorful, grew pale, then cracked. I saw something black ooze from the edges. One man in a jester's mask bent backwards unnaturally before collapsing. I tried to run. The doors had vanished. The windows showed only blackness like I was drifting in space. I screamed. No one reacted. Until he came. The man in the porcelain mask. Blank. Smooth. Featureless. He pointed to a woman in a golden peacock mask. Her body froze, then trembled, then split open. Something stepped out of her. Thin, sinewy, faceless. It reached down and picked up her mask and placed it on its own head, and it resumed dancing. They weren't wearing masks. They were wearing people. Each creature inside had hollowed out a guest, worn their skin, their voices, their memories, like trying on clothes, and they were rehearsing, over and over. For what? A ritual? A harvest? Was I chosen? Was I invited? Or hunted? I began to forget my name. I clung to it like a lifeline, whispered it to myself over and over. But each time I said it, it sounded more foreign, like something I'd read once in a book. I saw a mirror. I ran to it. My reflection was smiling. I wasn't. The mask on my face pulsed. I tried to remove it. I screamed. I clawed, but it wouldn't budge. Blood ran down my neck. It was fused to my skin. I wasn't a guest anymore. I was part of the masquerade. The dancers were dwindling now. Only a few remained. Most had cracked, split, been replaced. And I realized the truth. This party didn't end. It just waited. Waited for another to stumble in. For another curious soul to accept the invitation. I saw the man in the porcelain mask standing beneath the chandelier, arms outstretched, welcoming me. I approached. I couldn't stop myself, and as I took his hand, I looked down at my own. They weren't hands anymore. They were too long, too pale, too smooth, like porcelain, like his. If you ever get an invitation to the masquerade, burn it, because the dance never ends, and the mask chooses you.